MASH gave us 11 seasons of laughter and tears, but now 7 cast members are gone forever. I am David, and today I am covering every MASH star we have lost and the 4 still alive. Some of these stories will shock you, and some will leave you in tears. Hit subscribe because this video will break your heart. Mclean Stevenson, the first major goodbye. Mclean Stevenson played Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake, the lovable and clumsy commander of the 4077th. Fans adored him, but after 3 seasons, Stevenson made a big decision. He left MASH because he wanted to become a bigger star on his own. Sadly, that dream never came true. He tried several new shows like The Mclean Stevenson Show and Hello Larry, but every single one got canceled quickly. Hollywood can be cruel like that, but here is the thing. Even though his later career struggled, Mclean Stevenson gave television one of its most unforgettable moments ever. In his final episode called Abyssinia Henry, his character dies in a plane crash on the way home. What makes this scene legendary is that the cast was not told about the death until the very last take. When Radar walks into the operating room and reads the announcement with a shaking voice, the silence, the tears, the shock on everyone's face.
Type of an influences.
Like I'm not going to tell any more dumb jokes.
All of that was completely real. Nobody was acting. That moment became one of the first shocking deaths in TV comedy history, and it changed the rules of television forever. Stevenson himself passed away on February 15, 1996, from a heart attack at the age of 68. He may have left the show early, but his impact stayed forever. To this day, fans still call that scene the moment television grew up. Before Stevenson, no comedy show had ever killed off a main character like that. He opened a door that Hollywood never closed. His legacy is not the shows that failed after MASH. His legacy is the one scene that changed TV forever. Larry Linville, the man behind Frank Burns. If you watched MASH, you probably could not stand Major Frank Burns. He was whiny, selfish, sneaky, and completely incompetent as a surgeon. But here is what most people forget. Making a character that hateable takes real talent. And Larry Linville had plenty of it. He played Frank Burns for 5 seasons and made him one of the greatest villains in sitcom history. Every time Burns opened his mouth, you wanted to throw something at the TV, and that is exactly what Linville wanted. He left the show after season 5 because he felt his character had gone as far as it could go. There was nowhere left to take Frank Burns, and Linville did not want to keep repeating the same jokes. Away from the camera, his personal life was just as dramatic. He was married 5 times. Linville passed away on April 10th, 2000, at just 60 years old from complications following lung surgery. He was one of the youngest MASH cast members to die. After his death, his ashes were scattered at sea near Bodega Bay, California. He deserved far more credit than he ever got for making one of TV's most memorable characters come alive. Without Larry Linville, MASH would have been missing the one guy everybody loved to hate. In real life, Linville was nothing like Frank Burns. He was a kind, thoughtful, classically trained actor who poured everything into making that character work. The fact that people still talk about Frank Burns over 40 years later tells you everything about how good Larry Linville really was. Larry Linville made Frank Burns the character everyone loved to hate. But do you think Frank Burns was the greatest TV villain of all time? Or is there someone even better? Tell us in the comments. Harry Morgan, the heart of Colonel Potter. When Mclean Stevenson left MASH, the show needed a new commanding officer. That is when Harry Morgan walked into the 4077th as Colonel Sherman T. Potter, and he changed the show forever. Where Henry Blake was lovable but chaotic, Potter was steady, wise, and full of warmth. He became the father figure the whole unit needed, and the whole audience needed too. Morgan was already a veteran actor with a career stretching across 7 decades. From 1940s film noir movies all the way to doing voice work on The Simpsons.
Blackjack Pershing, 1915.
Oh, sir, would you like the sergeant to write that?
But MASH held a special place in his heart above everything else. He once said something that perfectly captures what this show meant. I don't know if MASH made me a better actor, but I know it made me a better human being. His co-stars loved him deeply. Alda said that Morgan did not have an unadorable bone in his body. Mike Farrell simply called him a treasure. And when Morgan's health began to decline in his final years, his MASH family stayed close to him until the very end. Harry Morgan passed away on December 7, 2011, at the age of 96 in hospice care. He lived a long, full, beautiful life. And he made every scene he was in a little better just by being there. The 4077th lost its commanding officer that day, and it has never been the same since. Very few actors can join a hit show in its 4th season and become the most loved person on the entire cast. But Harry Morgan did exactly that. He did not replace Henry Blake, he created something entirely new, and fans loved him for it until the very end. Wayne Rogers and William Christopher, 2 painful losses. Wayne Rogers played Captain Trapper John McIntyre.
But do it quietly.
Hawkeye's best friend and a partner in mischief during the first 3 seasons, but Rogers left the show after a contract dispute. He felt Trapper was always stuck in Hawkeye's shadow, and he wanted more development for his character. Unlike Mclean Stevenson, Rogers did not chase a TV career after leaving. Instead, he surprised everyone by becoming a hugely successful financial investor and a business commentator on Fox News. He proved there was life beyond the 4077th, just not the life anyone expected. Rogers died on December 31, 2015, at age 82, from complications of pneumonia. Alda paid tribute by saying, "He was smart, funny, curious, and dedicated. I loved Wayne. I'll miss him very much." And then came a heartbreaking coincidence that shook every MASH fan. Exactly 1 year later, on December 31, 2016, William Christopher passed away from lung cancer at age 84. Christopher played Father Mulkey, the kind and gentle chaplain of the 4077th. Off-screen, he spent years fighting for autism awareness because his own son was autistic. His co-stars remembered him with deep emotion.
That's a truly Christian attitude. But we must remember what a proud and...
Loretta Swit said it was the most perfect casting ever known. And Alda wrote something that still gives fans chills. His kind strength, his grace, and gentle humor weren't acted, they were Bill. 2 men, 2 unforgettable characters, lost on the exact same date 1 year apart. You cannot make that up. That kind of heartbreak only happens when the bond between people is real. Wayne Rogers showed the world that a man can walk away from fame and still win at life in a completely different way. And William Christopher reminded us all that the quietest person in the room can leave the loudest echo when they are gone. Loretta Swit and Patrick Adiarte, the most recent losses. The year 2025 hit the MASH family harder than anyone expected. First, on April 15, 2025, Patrick Adiarte passed away at age 82 from pneumonia. Adiarte played Ho-Jon, the young Korean houseboy, in the original pilot and early episodes of the series. His was a quieter loss, but it reminded fans that even the smaller roles were part of something much bigger. Then, just 6 weeks later, came the news that truly shook the MASH world. On May 30th, 2025, Loretta Swit died at age 87 from natural causes. She was found unresponsive at her home in New York City. Swit played Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, and she was one of only 2 cast members, the other being Alda, to appear in both the very first episode and the very last episode of MASH.
Flung itself in the direct line of fire, giving its life that I might live.
She won 2 Emmy Awards for the role and spent her life off-screen as a passionate animal rights activist, running her own charity called Sweetheart Animal Alliance. Her co-star Mike Farrell posted a simple but powerful tribute after her death. Losing 2 cast members in the same year was a painful reminder that the 4077th family is getting smaller with every passing year, and the clock is ticking on a generation of television legends. When Loretta Swit left us, a piece of MASH went with her that can never be replaced. She did not just play a strong woman on TV, she was a strong woman in real life, fighting for animals and causes she believed in until the very end. Swit proved that Hot Lips was not just a nickname, it was a character that inspired millions of women to stand their ground and never back down. Loretta Swit played Hot Lips for all 11 seasons. What is your all-time favorite Hot Lips moment from the show? Share it in the comments. We would love to read it. The final four who is still alive today. Out of the entire main cast, only 4 are still with us, and fans have lovingly named them the final 4. First, there is Alan Alda, now 89 years old. He was the face of MASH for all 11 seasons, playing Captain Hawkeye Pierce. He won 5 Emmy Awards and also wrote and directed many episodes himself. In 2018, he publicly shared that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, but that has not stopped him. He recently appeared in Netflix's The 4 Seasons alongside Tina Fey. Then there is Gary Berghoff, now 82, who played Radar O'Reilly. He holds a special place in MASH history because he is the only actor who appeared in both the 1970 movie and the TV series.
Now, what does it stand for?
Anything you want.
He left after season 7, and his goodbye episode remains one of the most emotional moments in TV history. He is now largely retired from acting and spends his time as a wildlife artist. Jamie Farr, now 91 years old, is the oldest surviving main cast member. He played Corporal Klinger, the soldier who dressed in women's clothing trying to get a discharge. He started as a guest actor, but audiences loved him so much that he became a full-time regular. He also appeared in all 3 Cannonball Run movies. And finally, Mike Farrell, now 86, who replaced Wayne Rogers as Captain B.J. Honeycutt. After MASH, Farrell dedicated his life to important causes. He became co-chair of Human Rights Watch California and president of Death Penalty Focus. He also became his wife Shelley Fabera's full-time caregiver when she needed a liver transplant. These 4 men are the last living connection to one of the greatest TV shows ever made. Every day they are still here is a gift to every MASH fan around the world. These men did not just act in a TV show. They became part of our families, our living rooms, and our lives for over 50 years. The day we lose the last one of them will be the day the 4077th finally closes its doors for good. From Mclean, Stevenson to Loretta Swit, every MASH star we lost gave us something that will never fade. The final 4 are still here, but time is not slowing down. Let us appreciate them while we still can. If this video touched your heart, hit subscribe and share it with every MASH fan you know.